Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, on YouTube in the United States and across the globe. My name is Jack, and we have a very special show for you today. We have music producer Jon Rahi joining us in a little bit, and we also have a little bit of news to go through. It's the year of our Lord 2021, and it is April 20th. You know what that means? You know what that means? What it means is that in about 11 days, it will be May. Welcome to T.Ys Corner. Hey, folks, how are you doing today? We want to welcome you on this beautiful, well, here on the East Coast, it's a beautiful day. Austin, how are you doing? Oh, I think Austin is muted. Hold on.
Oh, there you go. Never mind. It's there we go. I'm doing well, man. It's a beautiful day over here in the West Coast. Nice.
Yeah, but in the West Coast, it's always a beautiful day.
It mostly is.
I know, right?
Unless you're in like Seattle, Washington, where it's
but Seattle. It's like London up there. You ever been to London? It's always raining there. It's
never been to London.
Yeah, it's always raining.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
But listen, we have a lot to get to. We want to look. We have a guest coming around in about 15 minutes or so. Tell us a little bit about him, real quick.
So we're going to be having a guest. Obviously, we're the pop culture corner, so we're covering a lot of other things like music and games and all that. And Rahi, he's a music producer, audio engineer. He has a lot of experience. He's worked in the industry for a little bit, and he's done a lot. He's been in London, actually worked in London, and did some schooling out there, and so he's got a lot of experience and a lot to talk about. So yeah.
Look who's back! Hey, Keaton, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you. Keaton's one of our patrons. Listen, we got to talk about Batman. We got to talk about Daenerys Targaryen is joining the MCU. I mean, Emilia Clarke. But first things first. Look, we cover pop culture, but there are big events that happen that you can't ignore. Literally about 15 minutes ago, maybe 20 minutes ago, right. Derek Chauvin was found guilty on all 3 counts. The whole country was kind of bracing. I know we're going to talk about this a lot tomorrow at the morning show, but in my lifetime, this might be the first major case that I can think of where the police officer was actually found guilty, because I can list about 20 others that were big that it didn't happen.
Right. Yeah, it's a big deal for sure. And, I think obviously there's still a loss of life, and that's always a sad thing. But this, I think this is a step in the right direction for sure.
Yeah. I mean, the jury only deliberated for 10 hours, and I was like, what does that mean? Because that happened with OJ. Right. Everyone thought OJ is going away. They deliberated for like 3 hours, and they're like, not guilty. Yep. But this in my lifetime, I was born in '87. This goes back to, I don't know if you ever heard of the name Rodney King. That was the first time someone had videotape. And it's the funny thing, true pop culture connection. The reason that was being videotaped is because they were filming Terminator 2 in the background. The bar scene at the opening of Terminator 2. So fans are trying to film footage, and all of a sudden they turn, and this guy was beaten down. But going back to Michael Brown, all the times that unfortunately has happened too many times, it's like you already knew it's going to be not guilty. And, and then violence ensues, chaos ensues, and then it happens again. I was watching the news footage, and it's a pretty big deal, and I know this doesn't bring George Floyd back to his family, but at least this could begin the healing process.
Yeah, I think it's definitely, like I said, a step in the right direction for sure.
Absolutely. Listen, if you're interested in becoming a patron, look in the link in the description below. Let me just thank Keaton since he's here. That one, Carlos, who joined us yesterday, was it, or day before? Odd, Nick De Palma. If you're interested in becoming a patron, please check out the links below. Listen, I don't know if you ever grew up watching the Tim Burton Batman. I don't know if you ever watched that. But for me, he was my first Batman, and he's always kind of had a special place in my heart. We knew he was going to be in the Flash movie, and then a couple of weeks ago, he tweeted that it wasn't confirmed, and it was like, oh, what's going on with the Flash movie? Now we know that he is returning. Are you a fan of that first movie?
Oh yeah. I love the original Batman. Jack Nicholson's Joker. All these guys. Yeah, I love it. And then Batman Returns was also one of my favorites. I think I probably saw Batman Returns first. Because I was a kid and it was on TV or whatever, and then saw the original, the first one. But yeah, I was always a fan of Michael Keaton as Batman. He is the original. I would say he's not my favorite, but he's still very good.
He was my favorite, but I think recently Affleck might be my favorite. I've been literally changing my mind about that one every other day. But it is confirmed, and this is one of the images they dropped during fandom. So at some point we are going to see him in the suit. Look, he's 70 years old. They might have to, I don't think he's going to be in the suit a lot. What do you think? Do you think he's just going to be an older Bruce Wayne, or do you think?
Hey man, we'll see. He's not in bad shape. He's not in bad shape.
I mean,
he's So I mean, he just did a movie like a couple years ago called American Assassin.
He's very lean. He's not a heavyset guy. He looks like he's been in good health all his life. They might do something where, like, I know that Zach did it in the Dark and Batman v Superman, but maybe wear like an armor suit that he's older. He wears something that's more Batman Beyondish kind of. Do you know what I mean? Something that can help him. And I always thought that'd be kind of a cool idea to do that. I'm kind of excited about seeing him again in the suit.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely excited. And this is I don't know if they're gonna go this route, but he was the one I would like to see as our Batman Beyond. I think he's the perfect choice.
Absolutely.
He's older. So it'd be I would like to see, but we'll see. We'll see what he does.
I think he had the best Batman voice just because what he did was he just whispered.
Right.
He just
exactly.
Michael Keaton himself is a very animated guy. You want to get nuts? Come on, let's get nuts. But as Batman, he's psychotic. He just kind of whispered.
Right.
And of course, the microphone can pick it up. But like, one thing I always liked about him is that Tim Burton cast him because of his eyes.
Right.
He cast him because of his eyes, and he said he had these crazy eyes. And if you ever look at his shots of him, he's got these really intense eyes. And just to see that again, it's just really, really, really cool.
I think he's gonna be really cool. I think it's it's a really cool opportunity. We'll see how they use it. But it's definitely something I look forward to for sure.
Okay, yeah, definitely. And one other thing, I know they dropped the first 7 minutes of Mortal Kombat. Did you get a chance to look at it? I know today's been a crazy day with the news and everything. I barely was able to get into it.
To check it. Yeah, I did watch it. I loved every second of it. For me, that opening sequence is a pretty, if you know the Mortal Kombat lore and games, that opening scene is pretty well known. It's definitely done in a very cool and new way, and to see it in live action it's awesome. It's awesome. I really look forward to that movie. I think I really think it has potential to like change the video game movie curse. Yeah, I think this could be a great one.
And not that it really matters, but right now it's sitting around 60% on Rotten Tomatoes, which is kind of cool. I mean, that's kind of where I expect a movie like this to, kind of sit. It's going to be a fun, over-the-top action movie. And, I'm not really expecting, Tenet here or Inception or like, or even like, something like, I don't know, Nomad's Land.
No.
By the way, we're going to talk about tomorrow. Quick dip.
Yeah. We're going to talk about the Oscar films, but yeah, I'm not expecting anything, anything too complex, but I'm thinking it's going to be a good action. It looks like a good story, good action. They're going to follow a lot of the lore. It looks like, even I saw a clip earlier. There's like Liu Kang is doing the classic, kick. You just keep smashing that button, knock your opponent down. So they're actually going to do that in a cool way in live action. So I think it has a lot of potential. It has a lot.
And so Ty's saying that we can't watch that, and I'm pretty sure. I was like, we're gonna put that on. They're gonna go on us and be like, yeah. But I did see it, and what I will say, remember we were talking about yesterday how I think the Shang-Chi trailer didn't really wow me with the martial arts aspect, of the fight scenes. This one did.
Right.
It's only a few minutes, but holy crap, did it like it was precise, it was graphic, it was in your face, like it was like, yep, that's what I want to see,
Exactly.
It was intense. I liked it. I liked it a lot. I do want to say one little piece of news that dropped right before we went on is that the Dragon Queen herself, Daenerys Targaryen, has been cast in Disney Plus's Secret Invasion. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I'm excited, man. That's another cool casting announcement. And I know they were talking about her and Olivia Colman from The Crown joining. So yeah, it's gonna be cool to see these. I'm glad they're getting these like TV veterans, like the main TV veterans, and bringing them over to the Marvel world. Have Emilia Clarke and Olivia Colman. This week we got Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
Yeah.
So I think it's cool to see these kind of like TV titans come over to the Marvel universe and be used in a bigger way.
Yeah, and I mean, I've seen very few of her work outside of Game of Thrones.
Yeah,
she killed it in Game of Thrones, but outside of it, she was Sarah Connor in
Terminator Genesis.
Yeah.
The ultimate Terminator film.
Mother of Dragons.
That's right. Yeah, I mean, either besides that Terminator film, really.
And she's such a sweet person. Every time you see her, like, she seems like a really sweet person. I'd love to have somewhere. A lot of fans want her to play, replace Mira or replace Amber Heard as Mira, and I'm like, okay, I could see that.
Right.
I could see that. She's got that.
But I don't think so now. With that Marvel casting, I don't think.
Do you know who Abigail Brand is in the Marvel universe?
That's so familiar.
That wasn't a gotcha question.
Brand is so familiar.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
That
wasn't me trying to like trap you or anything. I was just wondering if you knew who that was.
Right. I was like, oh man.
So listen. So our guest, Jon Rahi, is here. We before we bring him on, we have two sponsors now. We're getting big, man. We used to have one, then we have two. Actually, we have three, but we're gonna do two right now. What can you tell us about our first sponsor?
Right, here we go. So today we're brought to you by Kai CBD. Las Vegas-based health and wellness brand that crafts a full-spectrum CBD hemp-delivered product line made with 100% love. The brand was created by a 20-year licensed massage therapist for her husband who suffers from chronic pain. Healing is what Kai lives for. It's what she does. So if you head on over to their Facebook or their Instagram, which their links are in the description below, mention that you're a friend of Pop Culture Corner, you will get 10% off your order. So go ahead and head on over to Kai CBD, Facebook or Instagram. Send them a message and get yourself some CBD.
Ooh, I think that's what I'm going to do later this weekend when I get paid.
Oh, there you go.
That looks really cool. All right. We are also brought to you in part by Bonk's Bar in Philadelphia. Bonk specializes in seafood and good times. If you're in the Philadelphia area, make sure to stop by. And on Tuesdays, your producer, Jack, host trivia there. In fact, I'll be there in about 2 hours hosting trivia. If you mention Pop Culture Corner to Jack, that is me, you receive your first drink on the house. So, hey, get something out of it. For more information about the menu or specials, visit the website for Bonks or all their social media pages. All the links are in the description below. All right. At this point, I'm going to bring in our friend, Jon Rahi. Jon, I know we misspelled your name. We're working on that right now. So I'm going to add him to the stream, and here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Jon Rahi.
Hi, everybody. How's everyone doing?
Well, what's up, dude?
What's going on with everybody today?
Hey, Jon, so Ty is explaining to me how to fix your name, and
Gotcha.
But actually, at the moment, I think because of the banner, we can't see it, or is it?
Oh yeah, there we go. Yeah,
there we go. So, listen, Jon. Austin tells me he knows you, so I'm going to let Austin take the lead. He's our intern for the time being. Nah, he's pretty much part of the family at this point. But go ahead.
Yeah, what's up? Well, what's up, man? How you doing over there?
How you doing? I'm doing good today.
Good, man. Well, yeah, I want to ask you a lot. So obviously, we're gonna get into. You've been in the music scene for most of your life, probably. But let's start from the beginning. Let's see. I met you. Gosh, like 10 years ago, probably at this point, like over 10 years ago. So when I first met you and stuff, you were like your main theme was like pop punk, which I also was into. Like it was Green Day and all this other stuff. So that's where it all started for you. You had like a band in high school and all that. So what was where did all that like love for music and pop punk come from?
Yeah. So I guess my parents always made me like try stuff growing up. So it was a lot of, play tennis, play golf, play soccer, play guitar, sing in the choir, do musical theater, like do whatever. My parents just wanted me to always stay busy, and like that way I could find what I enjoyed. And they had me in guitar lessons, and I met a friend who had Guitar Hero, and I remember like playing Guitar Hero and being like, wow, okay, this is why people play guitar, like because they want to do that, like word, easy, easy, easy. So then I started just really finding a love for the guitar. So I wanted to be involved with the guitar as much as I could. Our school had a worship band, and that's really where I got I cut my teeth learning how to play guitar there.
Into the guitar.
Yeah, amen. But we practiced 3 times a week, every week from when I was in 6th grade through senior year. So at minimum, I was playing for an hour 3 times a week. But it was also my love. So every day after school, I was in jazz band, and then I wanted to start my own band. And that's when I started a band with some kids in high school. Started doing some concerts around town. We were lucky enough to meet a family friend who saw us play, and he allowed us to show up to his studio when I was like 15 or 16. And I was able to meet some people I had always listened to and like looked up to, and I was able to work with them on some music. And we put out a little album, and that's when I like understood that there's a much bigger picture with music, and that like there were so many things you could do, and that people were getting paid for, and that it was all a real possibility for somebody to do full time is work on music. So from then on, it was kind of just about figuring out how I could turn music into a career.
Was there a specific band, like when I didn't play guitar till high school? There was a band for me that was like, I got to learn how to play guitar. Was there a band or a group or even a song that did that for you?
Oh man. So I remember listening to Eric Johnson's Cliffs of Dover and Guitar Hero. And it's just like basically a guitar solo long song. It's 4 minutes of but it's beautiful melodically. It's not just like wailing Van Halen style, which is still great.
Yeah, that's
but
my band.
It felt like a full song, and I loved it. And so that was when I started to like really try and like play difficult music on guitar and like try to take it real seriously. And I think back because it was way out of my league at the time. I had no idea how he was playing what he was playing. So it was like, let's see if we can get anywhere near there.
Right.
So it was Eric Johnson's Cliffs of Dover, but bands like Green Day and Blink-182 really set me on my path of trying to get a group of musicians together to play and be something like that, because they showed me the love of the scene more than just the sound.
Were you ever a fan of Offspring?
Yeah, I listen to a lot of the Offspring.
I'm a big Offspring fan.
Grew up on alternative rock radio. Like my mom's driving me to school, like 107.5 here in Vegas. Is what we were listening to.
So what was your first band called?
My first band was called New and Improved. We were a pop punk 3-piece here in Las Vegas. We play at like Eagle Area Hall, like VFW halls around town. But it was fun, and I was in high school, and it allowed me to be a part of something, which was dope, because like I wasn't on the football team, but like people still knew I was doing something, and like I could show people that, and I don't know, it gave me my place in the universe in high school, which is hard to find. So when that was all wrapping up, though, I had to figure out like what was next. The band was over, everything. So, going to college, I went for music industry studies, and that's kind of how I ended up where I am today.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, and I can attest, I've seen you play Guitar Hero, and it's I wouldn't even try. But yeah, I mean that it's interesting. You started with the love of punk rock and all that, and we both liked Green Day a lot. And then you kind of made this transition into like hip hop and producing and working on those types of beats. So what was kind of the lead in or change into go in that direction?
That's like the funniest part of all of it was I was playing in this band, I was in the scene, I was doing like playing guitar every day, doing everything. And when you do something every day and it's like your real, like in high school, as far as I was concerned, it was like my career or like what I was doing every day. You look for an outlet, you look for somewhere to do something where there's not as much expectation to be like perfect, right on the money at all times.
Right.
And so I was having fun just like using GarageBand, just finding sounds and playing with sounds because all I played was guitar. But suddenly I could now like program some drums and I could program a little key part. Now I can play as a full band by myself. And I learned a bit when I was at that studio when I was 16 recording. I just got to like understand the bigger picture of it. So I was able to jump in and kind of start with that process and YouTube, looking up everything I wanted to learn and started just doing that for my own band, like coming up with ideas that weren't just basic like rock songs that had a little bit more production to them.
Yeah.
But then my bass player in my band was also trying to get into rapping. Or he was rapping, but he was trying to get a little more serious with it. And he was playing me a lot of music like Future and Young Thug. It would have been like 2016 at the time, 2015.
Right.
And I was blown away by the sound. I was the impact that it had on me. It completely shifted my focus from like the moment I heard music like that. I was like, I need to know how they're doing that. I need to figure it out. Like because they're doing it. Like it's possible. It's one person with a laptop. Like I know I can figure this out.
Yeah.
And when I went to, and this was like right around when I was moving out of Las Vegas and moving up to Syracuse and starting to go to college. Yeah. So this a lot of the time was very like transformative for me. Everything in my life was changing. So I figured it was time for a little bit of a fresh start. Plus, I found more people who were interested in hip hop at the time or interested in working on it or sharing their tips or techniques. I didn't know a ton of musicians outside of like the people I grew up with. When I went out to college, there weren't I didn't meet a lot of musicians off the bat, but I met a lot of people who had been rapping or producing or they worked in the EDM scene. And they could teach me so much about these computers and what you could do inside the computer while making music.
Yeah.
And that's where I really took off, was the exposure I got at college from just meeting peers who were doing the same thing I was, but a little differently and just getting around them.
Yeah, because I was going to mention, because like you're going from Vegas to the East Coast essentially, and rap was pretty much born on the East Coast, hip hop. Did you notice a huge cultural shift in the type of music that was? Because even I've heard the type of rock music people listen on the East Coast is different on the West Coast. Did you feel that kind of changing culture?
I mean, everything about culture changed when I went up to Syracuse. I definitely I realized that Vegas is probably the more unique spot than New York, because the culture up on the East Coast itself is pretty similar. I didn't find like a huge difference between the little different communities that were up there. But when I realized that Vegas is much different from most places around the world. And that's when I started to realize like, oh, okay, we're the ones that are a little different. Okay, I get it.
Oh, we got a question for you here from our creator. How's Austin in real life? Lame, right?
Lame.
Can we block spam? No, I'm kidding. Sorry, we love you, Tyler.
I actually don't know who that is. He's the guy who used to host this show. No, I'm just joking.
That's right. We took over. And that's a perfect segue actually into, you studied at Syracuse, and you were at Syracuse for 4 years. Obviously, you were one of those that your final year unfortunately got caught up in the pandemic and all that. But you did get to do like some pretty cool things and intern at some. You got to be in London for a semester. So what was that whole experience like? I mean, it was definitely like It seemed very next level. I think you were in a graduating class of like how many kids? It was like a super small program.
Yeah, so when I was looking for colleges to go to, I pretty much auditioned for every college on guitar. But while I was on those college tours, I found myself more in love with like big campus lifestyle than any of the like Berkeley's or like Boulder. And so I just decided that I wanted to go to like a real big university, do like the big campus lifestyle with a big sports team. Like I just wanted to see what that was like. And the Bandier program, fortunately, is a super small program of only 25 students per year, but at this massive university. So it gave me the large campus feel with a really small community of people doing pretty much what I want to do. Like the program is for music industry studies, so management, record label work, being like an artist and repertoire. That's what the focus of the program is for the most part. But we've had many successful artists come through the program. You know, it was an incredible environment for me to find myself, and that was what I was looking for when I applied, and it's why I stayed. And one of the benefits from that program was the emphasis on internships, but not just summer internships, but placement internships. So I spent 6 months in London, and then I spent 6 months in LA, both during like the school years. And we do a hybrid work intern environment. So I'd go to school for 3 days a week, and I'd intern like two or 3 days a week. It would like switch off. So I was constantly either interning or like getting my schoolwork done, like getting my classes done. And so in 4 years, I was able to live in 3 different cities and intern at 4 different companies. And it was super exciting as I was finding a passion for the music industry. I lost a little focus on the production and engineering side during those 4 years of college, just based on the fact that I was inside of record labels doing more business work. I was an intern. I was a talent scout, essentially. So I was covering a lot of shows, going to a lot of shows at night, helping pitch artists to my bosses, making sure that everything that was new and hot that hadn't been discovered was at least checked out before the opportunity was gone.
Yeah. Tyler just he was asking what I was thinking. So you go from Las Vegas to Syracuse. What's the music scene in London like?
The music scene in London is fantastic. I always loved British music. They're a little more dedicated to the artistry, I'd like to say, rather than dedicated to the experience.
Yeah.
They take the music very seriously. Like the sound is supposed to be perfect. They're very technical. And they do it with flawlessness. Like that's the thing. American music can tend to be rough. The mixes can tend to be more character based and not so clean. British music is sonically perfect, man.
Yeah.
They really know how to. They don't stop until every bit's been polished off and perfect.
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna say I grew up. I'm a huge fan of. I didn't grow up with it, but I'm a huge fan of what they called the new wave of British heavy metal, which was Priest, which was Maiden, which was Sabbath, and they all talked about the sound of metal coming from Birmingham and the industrial noise of steel and factories, and that inspired them, for the sound they were looking for in music. I'm like, I don't think that way. It takes a certain type of mind to think that way. Like, hey, I listen to industrial noises. How do I make that into music?
Yeah, no, I love British music. I'm a big fan of like the grime scene out there, and I guess it's kind of changing now, but back when I was studying over there, it was just kind of ending, and the pop hip hop was starting to pick up over there. And I was working over in a British hip hop alternative pop music record, like dance, hip hop, R&B, that kind of. It's like still pop music, but not so UK Billboard charts focused.
Right.
But it was great. The scene was great. I was able to play a show out there, and I met a couple artists out there who were really cool. It was just a fun time. I love London. I wish I could go back.
Yeah. It seems really cool. And one thing that I was thinking is like, what as far as like the music influences of each, like how much do you think the London music now or that European music is like influencing stuff over here, and how much do you think we're influencing stuff over there, or are they literally just their own separate things?
This is like a. Let me see how I can boil this down. So we're in like a borderless time a bit.
Yeah.
At least I think things are shared so quickly. Things are shared so rapidly. Ideas can be shared from one country to another country in 4 minutes with a WeTransfer or a Dropbox.
Yeah.
You know, things. So I don't think it has to do with location anymore. I think it has to do with community. So if the people who, when they say this, we're done, send, who are those people? Who are they around? What are they listening to? What are they considering? Yeah. I think the British professionals tend to consider the technical details very heavily, as well as the emotional response, the feeling of a record. Where in America, I think they put a lot much more emphasis on the feeling of records. Like, how does this record make you feel? Cool. We're not going to compare the sonic characteristic of this song to, you know, the lineage of Grammy-winning sonically based songs. And I think that's just like, it's an interesting part. And I think, you know, the internet and SoundCloud and like that kind of culture in America helped push that feeling. It's like, let's get it out there. Doesn't need to be perfect. People just need to get the point.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, absolutely. And for just to kind of close the whole London thing, what for you, what was kind of like the highlight of being out there?
I did travel, honestly, because as busy as I was, I'd have every weekend off, and I was taking the cheapest bus, flight, train, ferry boat I could to get to another country and stay in the, you know, €7 a night hostels. But just, it was, I got to check out about 16 countries in 5 months, and it's just a lot of travel, a lot of new experiences, meeting tons of new people. You know, it was just as much serious as it was a just like fun experience, just trying to see the world. Definitely the whole time I was over there was the peak. It's hard to Abbey Road, actually, we didn't even talk about that.
Oh yeah, please talk about that.
Yeah,
that was honestly,
please talk about that
moment.
I didn't know if I was allowed to or not.
No, you're definitely allowed to talk about that one.
Cool.
I was looking for when I was going over there, I was looking for internships, and they asked, you know, I was asking around like, hey, is like there any possible way you think I could get an internship at Abbey Road? Everybody was like, no. The people who were in my program and had done it the year before, I like asked all of them who were into like the engineering side. They were like, nope, like unless you know like a Beatle or the Queen, like good luck. Like you really there's nothing we can do because like their entire faculty is from the British Recording Academy.
Wow.
Like you're like basically just lineaged up. Like if you don't start there as like a child and like repair their cables for them for 5 years and then turn into an assistant and then assistant 2 and then like first chair and like all that, then you don't really, there's no like internship program that you could just like give them your resume and say like, hey, I'm really interested, because it's Abbey Road. Like every person in the world knows Abbey Road. I kind of just let it go, and I was interning at a management company and record label over there, and I was very happy, but I didn't like let go of the idea of like wanting to get in there. So I was just like talking to people at bars, the pubs they call them. I was talking to people at the pubs, and I met this woman who said she knew a woman that worked at the school like hub that I was going to out in London. So I met the lady through her, and she ended up telling me about an opportunity that they were doing with like this charity, and they were doing a bunch of charity recordings out there. So she was like, I could bring you in and I'll like introduce you to the people there and like see if you can, you know, help out with the session. And I was there with them, zero questioning, no interview or anything. The guy's just like, oh, you're here, you're assisting the session. All right, like let's get to work. And I just started.
That's crazy.
Setting up mics, like helping figure out the patch numbers and wiring all this stuff. And I mean, it's a lot of just hitting the number 3 on the keypad to start recording. And so like as incredible as it was to be there, it is still just like computer.
Right.
3, let's go.
But you're hitting like number
there.
3 at Abbey Road.
Yeah. And you know, all the monitors say Abbey Road, like all the stuff's ingrained, like the gear I was in the 3rd room too, which is the brand new room. Like this, none of this stuff's vintage. It's all the modern, the new stuff. Yeah. But all of that still was like Abbey Road specifically built. Like you could just tell that it was every company that they called for the piece of gear gave them like a custom piece. It wasn't like, oh, you want an LA2A? Here's an LA2A. It's like, oh, it's Abbey Road's LA2A. Like, we'll make sure that it's got gold lettering and it's got the dials are, it's everything in there was just amazing. It felt holy. It really did feel
sacred.
I mean, that's basically the holy grail of like music recording studios. That's the temple right there. Like, I mean,
it was amazing.
Yeah. And
real quick, I just wanted to jump in. We got a fan question here.
Right. Yeah.
Are SoundCloud rappers saturating the industry? Billy says, I feel like the quality of music is down lyrically. Do you have an opinion on that?
Yeah. So here's what I got to say about music in general.
Wait, don't answer his question. He just asked this. What's Abbey Road? Never mind. Let's cancel that question.
Yeah. Never mind. Yeah.
Austin, you were saying if you want to answer it, go ahead.
I kind of am curious though to hear the answer. What you were going to say?
Saturating? No, I don't. There's no such thing as saturation because it's up. You have 24 hours. Listen to whatever you want to. Just because it was easily like shoved in your face doesn't mean you have to listen to it. You can make your own opinion on whatever you want to. If you want to use a SoundCloud playlist or a Spotify playlist to find your music, that's fine. That gives you, it's less energy out of your day expended. But there's so much good music out there right now. It was my job for a full year to find it. Like I know it's there. I can guarantee you that there's a lot of great, exciting stuff that wouldn't exist without free to release platforms. But does a free to release platform create a lot of people who don't know what they're doing, just releasing it because it's no skin off their back? Yeah. So there's a bunch of hunk of garbage out there too. There's so much just dead garbage music that even the person who made it didn't care about. They don't consider it to be what you're looking for. You're like, oh, this rapper doesn't care. Yeah. Because that's not what this is about.
Right.
Sometimes the music is not what making the music is about.
Right. And we were talking about this kind of last week on last week's T.Ys Corner with the rapper that we had on Still Evan. And we kind of asked him, I want to ask him one of the questions, ask you one of the questions we asked him, which was, do you think it's like everybody has a fair shot or a fair opportunity in this industry to get big? Because obviously you have some people that are paying to get on playlists or paying to get on certain, all this type of stuff. So it's kind of like the more money you have, obviously the better chances. But do you think it's an overall fair market?
Yeah. It's like there's a million. How do I put this? Music. Everyone's got a chance to do anything now. You've got TikTok. Yeah. If you can't entertain people for 1 minute, what makes you think you can entertain them for 3? For 10, for 20? What makes you think you should get why should people pay to come see you in concert if you can't entertain them for 1 minute every day on their phone? Why would they pay money to go see you if you're not even entertaining them for free?
Yeah.
Like you're not giving them a taste. Like, so if you want to build a fan base, give them the value add every day, be in their face every morning, giving them some kind of entertain. You can give them the same song every day. Play it acoustically one day, show them how you made the beat another day, sing over it one day, show them your favorite plugin the next day, get a band together and do it the next day. You can run the same song for weeks if you don't want to put out lower quality, quicker made music. If you really spend a lot of time on it, you can run that music for a long time. And if it's really good and people really like it, they will see it, they will interact with it, they will share it. That was one of the harshest pieces of information I was ever given in my life. It was my first day at Syracuse in the Bandier program. And it's this guy who manages artists that are signed to record labels.
Right.
Like on Billboard charts. He was only a junior in my program when I was a freshman. So he was still kind of new, getting his feet wet. And I was complaining to him on my first day out. I was like, Yeah, me and my friends make a lot of music. We're just having a hard time like getting like streams. Like it's just hard. I'm trying to figure out the whole streaming thing. He's like, honestly, if the music's that good, people will hear it.
Yeah.
And I was at first, it offended the hell out of me. I was like, well, no, it's good. I know it's good, and nobody's heard it. And there is an element to I wasn't sharing it. I wasn't exposing it the right way. I wasn't marketing it. I had zero marketing dollars behind it. Nothing ever gets in front of people without a couple bucks and a couple, friends helping you out. But he's right. If it's good, people will hear it.
Yeah, that's so
TikTok
true.
highlights that.
That's so true. And I think too, and along the way, you learn the marketing. Obviously, I've seen you grow massively. Learn your marketing and learn how to grow and how to market yourself better.
I'm still working on it for sure.
I know. I think all of us are. We're all just trying to get to that spot that we're doing it right. But kind of, talking about all of that, Spotify and like Apple Music and all these other things like really changed the game. It's kind of like Netflix and streaming with movies. For me, I always have to relate music and movies because they're so, to me, in my head, similar in a lot of ways. But Spotify, all these things, the streaming things changed the game. So I'm kind of curious to get your opinion on, in a market where it's so hard to monetize. To make some money, you have to get thousands and thousands of plays over a certain amount of time and all this. How do you see like the future of artists making money? Is it going to be solely, obviously if you're a big artist like Drake or some of these guys, you're going to make money. You're going to make deals and sign deals. But if you're not, is it just going to be playing shows or marketing yourself like online? Where do you see that going?
I mean, here's the thing. There's money to be made. Just go get it. Like, provide value. That's the biggest misconception I think every person getting into the arts has. Unfortunately, the arts, to make money, have to be run like a business. So if you don't understand the basic concepts of running a business, you are still entitled to make as much art as you want. But you are going to have a problem turning a profit on your art if you do not run it like a business. And so you have to make sacrifices when you run a business all the time. And you have to make sacrifices with your art when you run it for a business. And that's where all these problems with either, the movies and studios going back and forth, about issues, record labels and artists going back and forth about issues. It's all about the value of what the customer wants when you run a business. So there's self-expressive art, and there's art for consumers, made for consumers. You have to define what you want. And that's why there's passion projects and there's massive studio films. Sometimes you have to take a loss to do something that you love, but over time, the value expands. Sometimes you need that quick dollar to pay rent, but it allows you to make it onto the next day, make it onto the next project. And you do two of those, finally you can afford to do your passion project. And that's just kind of how I look at it, is like, if you can't foresee being able to put out or generate enough money from music to sustain yourself for life, still make music. There's more than ever ways to express it, but you have to get your full income off of music if you're not willing to make the sacrifices of being a commercialized artist. Like, if you're a songwriter, you're going to have to write a bunch of songs for a bunch of different people. So if you're not willing to write in a bunch of different genres, it's going to be hard for you to be a professional songwriter and eat every month. Because you're not going to write the 3 kinds of songs that will help fill out your payment for the month.
Exactly.
And then you brought up paying for playlists real quick. I just want to mention this. Like,
somebody asked.
There's a ton of that going on, but it's kind of, it goes in waves, right? So there was there were YouTube ones back in the day, back when I was in high school, and it was like escape tracks and like all these different kinds of like playlist promotion YouTube pages where people would pitch their songs, and then they would promote these tracks, and they had millions of already subscribers. So when they posted the song, there's a chance you were going to get at least 30,000 one-time listens and then from there they'll share it. That was like where this all comes from, and it works until you get like hollow plays and like bots in the mix. And now that there's so many bot accounts on Spotify and all that, you have a really hard time differentiating between a bot play, like a hollow play, and a play from somebody who, you know, subscribes to that playlist, listens to that playlist, and trusts that playlister's curation. They don't really exist as much anymore, again, because there's things like TikTok. Spotify has so many niche playlists that they make themselves now that it's hard to convince a consumer to follow a playlist that they,
you know. What I was going to say, like it kind of reminds me of like television shows. You have so many damn TV shows to watch on every network. And I feel like we're getting to a place where there's a lot of good music out there. You just won't hear it because it's easier to find, like you said, what's shoved in your face. You know, this is what the new Taylor Swift album is. That's easy. I know who she is. And I'm going to hear it everywhere.
I like Tyler brought up his favorite.
The best way.
Go ahead.
No, the best way to break out of that circle is because that was my job, and that was the hardest thing was when I was getting into talent scouting for record labels. Like, how do you find something that's not signed, doesn't have a bunch of people calling them already, but is also good? So you have to shift through a lot of nonsense, take everything that you hear with a grain of salt, but you'll get better at judging things yourself very quickly. Because once you hear 20 tracks a day, every day for 7 days, you'll remember the ones that were good way more than you'll remember any song when it was 10 okay songs in a row.
Yeah.
You'll feel more of a connection to it because you feel like you found it. And so I would encourage everybody to go on to like a Spotify and look at like Fresh Finds or Discover Weekly or like these smaller playlists that are generated for you by an AI, not by a person, based on the amount of listens that a new artist got that week that is somehow related to what you're already listening to. So what those playlists will show you are things that are a lot of people are already discovering this week, but just this week. It's just brand new. They're not an artist anywhere doing anything yet. So Fresh Finds, Discover Weekly, those are great places to discover new music. You're going to find a lot of stuff that you're like, boring, next. No skin off your back, though. What was it, 30 seconds to be like, kind of into it. But you're going to find a lot of things that you would never, ever be just given in the palm of your hand to by Spotify.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, that's, you know, you know, they mentioned it in the comments. It is still crazy to me, you know, how people like, you know, Chet Hanks are famous rappers. And there's some other people that I know who could definitely use that spot.
I see the first part of the comment, but the second part of the comment I don't absolutely love, because here's the thing: I don't think anyone's obligated to have success. Nobody's obligated to, just because he can. I'm sorry he can't afford to pay for marketing. Like that is unfortunate, but that doesn't give him an obligation to feel like Chet Hanks shouldn't have used that money. Chet Hanks could have used that money on anything. He decided that he thought maybe music was either going to open a pathway for him to do something else, was going to be a good return on his investment, was an image choice. I don't know why he wants to be a rapper. That's not up to me to decide. But those are his marketing dollars to spend.
Yeah.
If you want to be a famous rapper, get some marketing dollars. I promise you, your music is the second part of that. So if you have marketing dollars, you could probably be a rapper too. So instead of getting mad at somebody for spending marketing dollars, get some marketing dollars and try it. And yeah, he's Tom Hanks' son. So like he's got a built-in fan base. But he was entertaining people for so long before he dropped this music, right? Whether or not you found it quality entertainment, again, is not for me to decide. But a lot of people were watching those videos and talking about, you know, we all know like we've seen the videos. That's why he gets on these playlists. It's not because of the dollars. It's because people know who he is and probably will click on it.
Yeah. Billy, I was gonna bring that up at the end. So stay tuned. That was gonna be one of my final things that I asked him about.
Also, do you know what this is? NFTs, Billy Robert.
Yeah. That's what I was gonna bring that up at the end.
Right. At the end. Okay.
Yeah. All right. So, real quick, you know, obviously you also worked in LA. You've been working here in Las Vegas. You know, so you've gotten to know like the local, you know, hip hop rap scene and stuff. And I kind of wanted to talk to you. what's that been like collaborating with the local scene? What have you found just out of the locals, and what do you see, where do you see those avenues going?
It's fun. I like being home. When I left, there wasn't much of what I would have considered a scene. There was. I was wrong. I was young and not super in the culture back then. But it's nice to be back home because I understand where everybody's coming from. Now I moved back during the pandemic, so shows had finished.
Right.
My buddy put together a live stream for Black Lives Matter when unfortunately, I mean, look, we had the verdict today, and thank God there was a little bit of justice. But when all that was going down, we threw up a Black Lives Matter live stream with a lot of local artists, and through that, I've agreed to do it for free. I'll run sound, I'll help record, and through that event, I met a bunch of different local rappers in different camps who everybody's looking for a studio to record at, and that's where I come in. I'm a recording engineer by trade. We have a studio. So I invited them all. I said, I'm going to book out this weekend for free. If you show up, I'm going to just be playing a lot of my tracks. Come get on instrumentals, come get on them. If you've got material you'd like to record, if you really feel like you can kick it out of camp with all these other rappers, come through.
Right.
We had pretty much all of them come through through that event. I ended up getting a ton of clients through that event who I work with to this day now. And it was not only a great, source of revenue for myself just by doing that event, but it got me so connected to these people who had no real outlet to perform live. And so we had a lot of time to create records throughout this pandemic. And it's been great to be back and just great to make music with people who are kind of in a similar situation to me, kind of try to figure out what's next now. Okay, this is all over finally, but where are we going now and what's happening next and all that.
And that's the thing I've found is, when you work with these guys and stuff, you've really built like this team of people that is like, you guys all have the same goal, the same mindset. You're obviously, incredibly passionate and very, you push. I mean, with the Abbey Road story, that's probably one of my favorite stories. I've heard it before, but it's one of my favorite stories you tell, because I think it just shows, how dedicated you really are to the craft and how much you love it. So I think it's really cool that, you kind of like opened that door and kind of invited all these people to come in and just kind of create this team. Cause I feel like it's definitely going somewhere for sure. You guys have been releasing EPs and a bunch of other stuff, and it's exciting.
It's one of those things too, where everybody's kind of got something to prove, right? Like, there's music for music to listen to. There's music for like consumers, which is like marketed. But then there's also the competitive. I think it's in hip hop mostly. I think it's definitely mostly exists in hip hop. Definitely existed in like the alternative rock scene too back in the day. But there's this competition of who can create not better but more or different, or who can control the environment. So during those 2 weeks, we really got to see a lot of rappers all in a room, not trying to one up each other necessarily, but definitely not trying to come under performing of what just happened there. Right. And it pushed everybody to take a different look. But while everyone's doing that, I'm the one providing the soundtrack. So it gave them all like, oh, I'm trying to one up him on this beat. Wow, I sounded really good on this beat now. 1 + 1 = 2. Okay. I'm gonna have to come back. And let's book a session for like 2 weeks from now. Let's book a session from here. Like, let me get some beats. Like, and that's how I've gotten a lot of work out here in Vegas. Was just do that, and then through people hearing of those days and being like, I heard this record you did with him. Can I come try doing a record there? Yeah, like let me know when you're free.
Heck yeah. And then finally, Billy mentioned it earlier. Obviously, a big thing with artists right now is NFTs. And I know me, you, and our friend Nathan, we kind of talked about it a few weeks ago and stuff. But I wanted to get your opinion, NFTs. Where is that going? What's well, actually, for the people that don't know, because I tried to explain it last week, but I probably did a horrible job. What's an NFT?
I'm not an NFT expert. This is a bad question for me, but
wait, you did a better job than I did.
So they're non-fungible tokens. All right, so it's blockchain data. If you know anything about Internet 2.0, that's what me and my friends who are kind of into this stuff call it. It's the new framework for how computers are going to talk to each other. Essentially, when computers were created by the government back in the day, it was like, oh, government computer to government computer.
Yeah.
Why do we need protocols to trust data sending? Like, to government computer to a government computer. Like, oh, that's overthought. So the whole web infrastructure is based off of two trusted portals connecting with each other. Then it moved to universities, but that's still trusted. And it kind of quickly moved to the household without putting those steps of trusted information and backup information and all of that into the mainframe of the network. So what people are doing now is they're rethinking what it means to create a network that a bunch of people can be involved in, that keeps it more logistically safe and trustworthy than the infrastructure we have now with the current internet and web connectivity that we have. And that's where the blockchain comes in. That's where you start to build things like Ethereum, and you start to build things like Bitcoin, because you need certain protocols to be happening for all of this power to be run from somebody's computer. You're going to want to get paid for having to use your electricity bill to power these transactions that have nothing to do with you, because everybody's information is being run through everybody else's computer, so that it's 100%, tracked across the mainframe. If there's, one computer says something different from a different computer, they can say, well, we've got 1 million computers here that says this. Your computer says that, so that can't be true. That is false. Now, whether that's in payments for banks, ownership of materials, contracts, like legal contracts or smart contracts, like contracts that say, if this, then that. If you pay $5, then you get this thing. And these things can now happen automatically because they're perfectly checked along this ledger line throughout millions of networks. Right now, if you pay me $5 over the computer and I give you something, we both might have it in like an app or something but like, what happens if you delete the app and then you delete the email?
Yeah.
Where is it? Maybe the company has a ledger of the transaction, but what if the company shuts down? Where do you go to, access any of these resources? So that's what this whole new internet's about, is creating a much more compartmentalized, trusted, double-checked, every T crossed, every I dotted, like, mainframe. NFTs are just the art extension, currently are an art extension of this idea, where you can own something digital.
Right.
Now, I'm not fully on board with it yet. I don't get it. Maybe I don't have enough money to just kind of play around with owning this yet, and so I'm just not in the group. My friends also don't have enough money to just be throwing around on digital art right now, so I'm kind of out of the scene. I'm into reading on like what people's been doing, and it's crazy the amount of funds he's created, and it's pushing art in the next step. Art's always been very theoretical to me, like physical art.
Yeah.
Because not to say modern art is weird, but it is weird. It's always been. They taped a banana to the wall at that.
Don't get me started on postmodern art.
Yeah,
but I hear what you're saying. Yeah,
Shia LaBeouf in a bag.
Yeah,
it's an extension. I believe this is truly just an extension of the way modern art is moving towards embracing technology. I think NFTs are going to be really cool when there's a better mainframe for showing them and displaying them, when that matters more, when ownership of material matters more. Like, you see how much these companies are paying to buy up the rights to ownerships for things. You see why ESPN starts to freak out when you post GIFs of the games that don't come from the official ESPN GIF website.
Yeah.
It's that kind of stuff, but they're preparing for it now, so that when these protocols start to go into place and people are really upset they can't access things for free that they used to, they're like, well, I have it, dollar to look at it or whatever.
Exactly.
I don't know. I'm not a computer scientist. Like, if I had gone to school for computer science, I'd definitely be someone who would know a little bit more about it, because it's art, but it's not.
Right.
I don't know the computer side that well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's why I just want to get your opinion on it and get everybody who's just in music. I'm curious what they think about, because it seems to be, and it's not just music, like you said. I see an artist I like and follow like a lot, Boss Logic. Is selling his art through NFTs and all that. And it's just all very, very interesting to me. Final question before we close out and go. I know this was one that was not on the list, so I'll give you a second here. But let's do like your top 3 artists that, if you could, dream artists that you could work with. Who would those be? Top 3.
Top 3 dream artists to work with.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I'd
I'd love to get a record with Drake, because that means I have I can start a college fund for my children. That would be nice. I love Drake's music too, so that would be like one of those intersections of like where the payout and the pleasure and the art and the expression like meet at a beautiful place. Like that's
right.
why that would be a dream. I'd love to work with an artist that no one's ever heard of right now, but like in about 4 or 5 years, everyone has. I'd love to work with a really, really new artist right now, but that's gonna go somewhere. That's more interesting to me. So I don't know. And I'd love to work with Zach De La Rocha from Rage Against the Machine.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just want to talk to him.
I just wanted to.
Because I grew up on his music and his message, and I just want to know what he thinks of the state of the world right now. And I don't know. I want to know why he's not putting words to pen about it.
Right.
Because
he has been kind of silent. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. They were supposed to do a tour last year.
An artist, maybe you're going to be the artist who has to do that.
I mean, I pray.
Be the change you want to see,
They were doing Coachella before the quarantine happened.
Yeah.
So they canceled that Coachella. That was about to be a huge tour for them. So I don't know. Maybe they do have an album that's just sitting,
waiting in the wings. Never know.
I'm excited. Hopefully, I get on it.
Yeah, right. There you go. Yeah, absolutely. Hey, man, thank you so much for coming. I mean, dude, I could talk to you for days. There's so much stuff we didn't even cover. Like, I mean, you've been to so many concerts. You've worked with so many different, different audio, recording stuff. It's like barely scratched the surface. But I so much appreciate you coming on, man, and talking with us and doing this. It was a lot of fun for me.
Yeah, I had fun too. Listen, I was thinking to myself, like, okay, how am I going to do this interview? And Austin was taking it away. I'm just like, kick the feet up, let him do it, because he's a natural at this. So I was like, I was actually kind of having fun watching you two talk. I'm like, oh, this is what Ty feels like, when I'm working, But
right.
I had a blast. Listen, would you please come back soon?
Of course. Let me know when you guys come back.
Yeah, we'll love to have you back. Maybe we'll do a much longer thing too.
Also, guys, he does watch Falcon and the Winter Soldier and WandaVision and Star Wars. So yes, he's not just like some.
Don't lie. I don't watch the Winter Soldier. I haven't seen it yet. I'm going to a bit. I haven't seen
Never mind, guys.
Someone asked that question, and I was like, I don't want to change something, because I was so interested in what you had to say about the music industry, and I'm like, I don't want to bring up comic books into this. Let's just save that for our other 30 shows a week that we do.
I'm loving the Spider-Man game right now. Just that that's my life. That's my whole, like, when I need to debuff to relax. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna swing around the city for 30 minutes.
There you go.
Right?
It's cathartic. It feels good just to jump on.
I literally was on the phone last night with John telling him I bought Spider-Man just so I could swing for 4 hours. Like, I need to calm down.
It is really fun.
Stress out. But yeah, man, we definitely will have you back, and we can't wait to see you again.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
Yeah, guys, go follow him. His social media is in the link below. Give him a follow, and yeah, obviously, Jack, you want to?
Yeah. Just housekeeping. Just look, follow him. The links are in the description. I gotta do Quizzo, and if I do that, they're gonna fire me. But make sure you like and subscribe, because I as much as I love covering stuff, I love talking to people like this or hearing them about because we always see from the outside as consumers, and then you hear about the industry from behind the scenes. So if you want more content like this, look, folks, we enjoy us. Become a patron. I do want to thank our patrons. We actually have 2 or 3 patrons watching today. One last thing. Today's episode is also brought to you by Showcase Cinema Deluxe. This Friday, Mortal Kombat comes out. That'll be Friday the 23rd. And we, Pop Culture Corner, will be live from inside the theater, all day coverage of the film. Make sure to get out and support your local theaters. These types of movies, they're larger than life. The way they were intended to see was on the largest screen possible. Showcase offers their X Plus, which is their large premium format theater. Not only do you see and hear the film, but you become a part of the movie as well. Find out where your local Showcase Cinema is by heading to showcasecinemas.com or by clicking the link in the description below. Remember, be Showcase safe. Showcase has implemented several protocols to ensure that your focus remains on the film, not on the pandemic, including new ventilation systems in each theater to ensure proper airflow, sanitizer on every wall, and so much more. Enjoy the movie the way it was meant to be, with a night out to the theater. All right. So that's going to be exciting, and I hope maybe John will check us out. We're going to be doing our show on Friday, but we'll be back tomorrow for a quick dip. We're going to talk about the Oscar movies. Even if you hate the Oscars, join us in the comments below. Tell us why you don't like Oscar movies. You know, why wasn't Godzilla vs. Kong nominated for Best Picture? I don't know. But tell us tomorrow. Maybe it shouldn't have been, because we do it for you and we do it for the culture.